check this out. Oh, I don't know. What if I only have one AA Energizer? Just drop that in the barrel. Look at that. Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and this is the RovyVon E10 Pro. It's kind of a unique take on flashlights and on the bar light concept, and it does things a little bit differently than many of the other brands. So let's take a closer look at it and see how it works. First of all, you're going to notice this interface is a little bit different. It has two buttons here, and it's got this push button scroll wheel here. It's got an OLED display here, and then it's got a set of lights here. It's got two emitters up here and a laser emitter right there, and it's got a magnetic base, you can see right there, and it also opens to expose the cell capacity for AA sized batteries. And that's one of the really unique things because it does take any AA, period. Let's take a look at that. So first of all, to operate this thing, I can push this button down to go right into a full bright mode, and this turns on the display showing the voltage. If I hold that in, that's essentially the turbo right there. If I double click it, it kicks on an eco mode, which is 5 lumens. If I double click it while it's running, I can go to instant 300 lumens. The max turbo is 1600 lumens. If I hold this down and just hold it, that's the 1600. I can get a momentary there. If you're ever wondering, it will tell us what we've got. So I'm going to double click it. I'm at 5 lumens. There's my voltage. I can scroll this too. So as I start rolling this wheel up, you can see those lumens starting to count. 525, 640, 7, and I can keep going all the way up to my max 1600, and then I can start scrolling down, back through all the way to 5. So I can go exactly to what I want. That's a pretty cool thing, and I can jump around. I can go to my full speed turbo, I can go to 5 lumens, I can quickly get to 300. Now this button here is the laser, and I can hold it in for a momentary laser, and that's great because then I can let go and it goes out. Or I can double click it just to turn the laser on, and then single clicks give me 2 different intensities. You see that? Maybe like there. So a lower and a higher intensity, and then just hold it to turn it off. Again, push in for momentary, just like that. When this is on, right here, I can also use the laser. So you can see I've got the white light and the laser running. On this side, I can activate these lights. So I've got 2 white lights, I've got a red light right there, and I've got an ultraviolet light. So if I push this in once, it begins on the lowest setting there, and then I can push it to turn it off, turn it on, double, brightest, back down. And if you're ever wondering, just watch this right here. So there was 5 lumens, 30 lumens, 170 lumens, back to 5 lumens. Hold it to shut it off. If I double click it, I turn on my red. What do I have? It says 1 lumen red, or I can click it and I've got 90 lumens red. And I can also go, I shot through the strobe so it didn't get you, but anyway, I got a strobe and I have an SOS right there. And then if I triple click it, I go to the UV light right there, and that basically is on and off. No double size. Pretty cool there. All right, let's go to the battery thing because that's kind of interesting. So if you look close, you can see there's a lock and unlock. So I'm going to move it to the unlock position, and then there's a little tab here. I can push the button. This pops open, and what do we have inside it? We have got a pair of these RovyVon 3.7 watt-hour 14500s. But, and these by the way are USB-C rechargeable on the front end. These are the ones that came with it. But check this out. Oh, I don't know. What if I only have one AA Energizer? Just drop that in the barrel. Look at that. I can turn it on. Cycle through. Turn it off. What do I have? I've got 1.48 volts. And what's my max here? I've got 120 lumens. You can see it going down fast. That's on one fairly old battery, but let's pop that out. In fact, I don't know if there's an age on this one. I just dug it out of a box. Let's see. Usually, there it is. Oh, it expires in next month. It's been in a lot of things. Well, I'll just leave that in. What else do I have? Ooh, how about one of these Energizer lithiums? And notice the tab, the bump goes forward in all of these, just like you're loading a gun there. And now what do I have? Got 1.78, so I can turn that on. I'm going to go ahead and go to turbo mode and see what happens. Right there it is, 43.6. You can see it starting to drop pretty quick with whatever's on that. I'm just playing around with the different batteries. What if I take out this? And, well, you know what I will do? I'll put this one in here. And I have got an N-loop rechargeable. What is this one? This is a 1900 milliamp rechargeable. Drop that in. Now what do I have to work with? 1.48. It's going to take the max power until they're equal. Seems to be the way this thing works. So I push that on. There it is. You can see as it's dropping. 210. But of course, if I have these charged up again, I can drop one in. That's all I got. There we go, nice and bright. What was that at? Look at that, 1200 with one battery. Let's try it with two. So whatever you got around the house, just stuff it in here and get to work. Wow, that one I've got my full 1600 right there. Pretty cool. Anyway, let's go outside and see what this thing does. So here's some nighttime beam shots. You can see it's got a mildly center-weighted hotspot, not bad. So it's kind of nice to be able to toggle that full 1600 on and off. If you hear something, light up the area, look around. You can see the 5 lumen, little tiny bit of light, but then I can start spinning that scroll wheel and crank it up to the full 1600 and reach out. It says about 200 meters. That seems about right in this scenario. So there's the side light, first with the single LED. It has 3 speeds, single LED, low double LED, and then high double LED. Here's the red light. The one red is great for like map reading, real close conditions, but then for this one, if you go to that full 90, I mean, you can light up a trail. Of course, there's the red strobe and the red SOS, and you can see how many lumens each one of those is. There's the white light, again 5 lumens. It's kind of hard to read the screen when the light's pointing in your face, so there's that, 30 lumens, and then one more at 170 lumens. And that's plenty to navigate. It certainly lights up a table if you want to use this tail standing for some work. Keep an eye on your voltage there. There's the laser zipping around. The 2 speeds of the laser, sometimes if you're working close up, it's a little too bright, or if it's a highly reflective surface. So there it is, the RovyVon E10 Pro. Now there is also an E10 Max, and that just looks like this. It doesn't have these other white lights, red light, or UV. And with that, Doc out.